get us here. They make it incredibly beneficial to Cosm. They make a contribution that they make because of you being here.
Why is it flashing?
That means it's recording. You are making that contribution to Cosm, and so we feel that you are joining with us as temple builders, because that's our mission at Cosm.
Yeah!
Cosm, our mission is to build an enduring temple to uplift and inspire a global community. And you're global. You're all the way here, and we're all the way there. It's a global community that's building this temple because you're helping us. And we're very, very grateful to you for coming out tonight, for being here in support of a bunch of temple builders that we all are, you know, over here in the Northern California. So anyway, it's so lovely to be here, and I'm going to turn it over to my favorite artist. My studio mate for 39 years, same studio. Yes. The sexiest man I know.
I love you, Allyson, and I love all of you. Thank you. Thank you for coming out tonight. And I wanted to thank the spirits, the local spirits, the nature spirits that are here, all the elements that are here. I wanted to ask for their support in ending the drought, in imagining moisture and rain on this beautiful area, and for us to start to imagine and pray for the rain to come and to quench the earth and all of the crops, and to bless all of this land, this blessed land that has supported so many of us and brought such joy. We thank all the nature spirits that support us here, and all of the people that come from all the directions that join together here, the people of the 4 directions.
Yeah, baby,
We
sounds
call on all of them, all of the spirits, to be with us, to support us in our journeys and in our explorations of love with each other, and to be safe, all of us, and to feel protected. And watch out for each other, take care of each other. This is why we come together in nature. It's an extraordinary thing. We are a love tribe that is actually planetary. And that's one of the cool things, that you guys so young know this already, that you can go to practically any country on earth and find your tribe, a planetary love tribe that has already seen beyond the nation state and seen beyond their generation, seen beyond their gender, all the biases, and found that there's one love that we all share, and there's really only one of us here tonight. So we are looking to find the spiritual path of tomorrow, today, so that we can be led toward a planetary civilization. And I think that in these festival cultures around the planet, we're finding the beginning of that. So I'm going to say the smell of freedom. There's a little slideshow over here. Let's see, cannabis cures cancer, makes biodegradable plastic, could end deforestation, and could end oil, coal, and gas dependence. No wonder it's illegal. The war against drugs is a fraud. It's a class war. It's a way to oppress people who think different. Well, if we look deep into history, we'll find our ancestors, an entire legacy of sacramental culture. Here, Egyptians knew of the cannabis and the cannabis trance. And at Karnak, we have evidence of the cannabis plant being above the heads of these folks. In 4000 BC in China, in the Hindu Kush region, we have the cultivation of cannabis in China. So over 6,000 years old there. Now, if we look to the earliest religious text, it's the Rig Veda, and that is the Hindu scripture, and it talks about an entheogen, a psychedelic called soma, that puts people in touch with the divine. So we could say that Eastern civilization was based on the visionary mystical experience engendered by sacraments. And there's good old Shiva. He's the source of the Ganges up at the Mount Kailash. And so ganja grows around the Ganges. And we find the hashish centers in Nepal and all over India. And the biggest festival on earth is the Kumbh Mela, where out comes the ganja smoking babas to celebrate all together en masse. So if we look at the religious traditions, we see almost little breadcrumbs. And you have to say that when Colorado and Washington legalized this year and God declared Easter 420, now that's something special. Well, is anything coincidence? Let's see. I like to say, let's imagine that the first coming was when Jesus came and revealed the divinity of humanity. So if there's a second coming, what if it's coming through the ayahuasca churches and through the spread of sacrament all over the world, and we could say that this is the green Jesus and revelation of the divinity of nature. Because if we don't understand the divinity, the real sacredness of nature, how are we ever going to save ourselves and the web of life? So this is why we say the green Jesus and celebrating cannabia, the cannabis goddess. And these are ways to personify the plants that really give us life. And this is Cannabacus. I did a poster for the Cannabis Cup that we've judged several times. It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. Yeah.
Life is rough.
This is quoting Louis Armstrong, and it's basically saying it puzzles him to see marijuana connected with negative drugs. Because, look, it was there at the inception of jazz. And now we've got at least the medical sweeping the nation, even recently in New York State, which has been one of the more backward states, I think, in terms of cannabis, except I've learned recently that 100 years ago, you had, and before that, 150 years ago, in New York City, you had cannabis smoking parlors. You had 500 of them in New York City. So, yes, like up until the 20s, people were smoking hash and in Turkish smoking parlors in New York City. So we're fighting to get back rights we had, 150 years ago. It really is bizarre. So. Now, not only that, but if you look deep into Western civilization, then you'll look to Greece and Eleusis, the mysteries of Eleusis, the Eleusinian mysteries. Well, at the height of these mysteries, people drank the kykeon, and the kykeon was a psychedelic that opened people up to the realm of the archetypes and to the divine beings that they would converse with the gods. Socrates did this. So these were the Greek philosophers, Plato. These were the guys in the civic religion of Greece, which was psychedelic. So now we have the birth of both Eastern and Western civilization with psychedelic sacraments. Okay? So, and you can see what things they were drinking out of here. Now, we can go back further. The anthropologists, not just Terence McKenna, reputable anthropologists are saying perhaps those cave artists were tripping. They were taking psychedelic mushrooms, going into the caves, and oh my God, do you see what I see? And so maybe this had played a hand in the beginning of art itself. The visions, it's a reaction to the visions. How do we start to get them out? So Terence McKenna used to talk about the stone monkey theory, and that this is the beginning of language. This is the beginning of creative expression. And we see that in the forbidden fruit, this story of the kind of the cosmic smackdown for taking the sacrament. Here I've got Adam and Eve as the dawn human, and they are the stone monkey of Terence McKenna's theory. So the shamans were really the ones that were starting to take the sacrament, and they were making cave paintings. In Tasahili, and you've got the mushroom-headed deities, you've got the bison or the cattle and the mushrooms growing out of the dung. And so here we have in Algeria, these mushroom beings that are running along. They've got mushrooms in their hands. So we know that there were early cultures that were into the psychedelic sacraments. So we kind of honor them there at Cosm. And this is the recent Mushroom Cafe sign that I just painted. A lot of visionary painters have been painting in the Mushroom Cafe. So we look all over the world and we see signs of it. Teonanacatl, the flesh of the gods, the Mayan and Aztec use of the sacred mushrooms. And we see these stones, there still are many that exist, and in the Aztec codexes. We've got Peruvian evidence of the use of the psychedelic sacrament. And here Maria Sabina hands over the magic mushroom to Gordon Wasson in the mid-50s down in Mexico. And so this was how we know about psilocybin and the magic mushroom, from Maria Sabina. Thank you, Maria. But Mexico and Central America and South America has had a rich history in psychedelics. This was their psychedelic prince, Chocopili. The peyote visions that have filled the Native American art have, these are the kind of motifs that we'll probably see painted here this weekend, like these mescaline visions of the Native American church. They have a very special art that's celebrated with the peyote birds. And in the Huichol culture, they're also a peyote-taking sacramental culture. And they have their yarn painting, and they have their beadwork that concentrates on these elaborate patterns. And we've got the living Shipibo culture down in Peru that has also these songline patterns. Many of us are familiar with these. We've had the Pablo Amarengo, who's come out of the Peruvian ayahuasca shamanic tradition and became a painter. And he started a whole Amazonian school of ayahuasca art. In Brazil, the Santo Daime and the UDV have been ayahuasca churches. And these are some of the new wave that I believe is bringing the green Jesus or the green spirit of sacrament around the globe. Now, in 1962, Walter Pankey ran the Good Friday experiment at Marsh Chapel at Boston University. And in this experiment, he gave psilocybin to divinity students. And this was a double-blind experiment, and they proved that about in about 65% of the cases that people will have a full-blown mystical experience, a contact with God, a melting into the infinite oneness with one experience of psilocybin in the correct set and setting. Now, it took many years because of the war on drugs, but about 40 years later, Roland Griffiths basically proved in a much tighter run experiment the same thing, that about 65% of spiritually inclined people in a good set and setting will have a full-blown mystical experience, contact with Great Spirit, with using the psychedelic psilocybin. So this is the first scientifically proven way to have a mystical experience, is by taking psychedelics. So now we know this, and we know that the religions of the past have been based on something that can be scientifically proven to contact you with the divine. Now, when I was growing up in the 60s, I saw this on the cover of Life magazine, LSD art, and I thought, wow, that's really cool. It really was cool. And there was, you know, nothing illegal about it. It was just people were investigating their minds and making art about it. And so that's what I wanted to do, too. I finally made this portrait of our hero, Dr. Albert Hoffman, and this is called St. Albert and the LSD Revelation Revolution. And so he signed the back of the painting on his 100th birthday, and it has converted it into a relic, which will be on display at Entheon, which is the building we're going to be building. Now, his family also gave us his glasses, the lenses through which he saw reality change when he mixed up the medicine that day. So we're going to have those on display in the reliquary, the psychedelic reliquary of Entheon. Now, the sacred mirrors, this was done in 1980, and the sacred mirrors show this kind of progressive meltdown of the identity with the physical body and into the light body, that recounts a mystical experience that my wife and I had back in June 3rd of 1976, when we melted down into the universal mind lattice. We each became a toroidal fountain and drain of light that was interconnected with every other being in the cosmos, it seemed, and we were all made out of the same light. The light was love. So coming back from this perspective, we both figured that we had the same experience. And Allyson started a series of paintings based on her experience of it. It was a multicolored strands, and this is kind of looking at it from above. There was kind of a fountain and drain, a toroidal flow of light. And this was her version of it, the jewel net of Indra, the interconnected nodes of light. Do you want to say more about it? This is one and many. This shows her whole packet of light system. I believe her art is about the light, and it's about chaos, order, and secret writing. For me, those are the kind of the body or the realm of matter is chaos, where light is shattered, and the realm of transcendence is the realm of order here. And the in-between realm, the realm of the mind, is what this language represents. It's the language of creative expression, an inexplicable, unpronounceable language that is representative of all creative expression.
Well, the only one thing that I did want to say about it, because you do describe it so perfectly, but I did want to say that it was in a psychedelic experience that I got that everything was chaos, order, and secret writing, and that that secret writing permeates the universe, you know, like washes over surfaces and floats in the air. I saw that, and I was committed to making my art about that, and I have always made my art about that since 39 years since we started sharing a studio together. I work changed radically and became about chaos, order, and secret writing. Didn't it?
It did, and it's a so it's a visual koan to meditate on. Now, dear Sasha passed earlier this year, but he also I did a portrait of Anne and Sasha Shulgin, and this is the Shulgins and their alchemical angels, and they signed the back of it as